Let's talk about something that's quietly happening to even the best B2B marketers. It's this thing called content decay. We're going to dive into why your absolute best performing content might be losing its magic over time. And, how the new world of AI search is seriously turning up the heat on this whole problem. So I want you to ask yourself a tough question. Is your best content slowly dying? I mean, think about that amazing pillar page you launched last year, the one you were so proud of. Is it still pulling its weight, or has it kind of started to fade into the background? Well, this whole phenomenon, it actually has a name. And it's a major threat, even to the most buttoned-up content strategies out there. It's called content decay. Now, what's so important to get here is that content decay doesn't mean you failed. Not at all. It's just a natural process. Even your superstar content is going to lose its relevance if you're not actively keeping it alive. So let's look at why this happens. Yeah, it's not just one single thing. There are actually a bunch of different factors all working against your content's long-term success. First up, you've got outdated stats. I mean, if your content is still quoting data from like 3 years ago, both your audience and the search engines are going to see it as old news. And then there are the technical things, like broken links. They don't just create a bad experience for your user, they can actually chip away at the authority you've worked so hard to build. Your industry is always moving, right? What was a totally groundbreaking idea a year ago might be just common knowledge today. And just like that, your content loses its edge. And finally, your audience, well, they change. The questions they're asking Google today are probably different from what they were asking last year. Your content has to evolve with them. So, as if all that wasn't enough to worry about, there's a brand new factor that's making this whole thing way more challenging: AI-powered answer engines. Okay, look at this number because it really highlights the new reality we're in. AI assistants, like ChatGPT, they're citing content that is, on average, almost 26% more recently updated than what you'd find in a traditional Google search. Freshness is no longer a nice to have, it's a critical ranking factor. This chart right here really tells the story. Traditional SEO, it was all about authority and backlinks. But this new game, answer engine optimization, or AEO, it's all about recency. It's about how fresh and up-to-date your insights are. If your content is stale, AI is just going to ignore it, period. So how in the world do you fight content decay in this new AI-first world? Well, you can't just wing it. You need a system. You need a proactive strategy for renewing your content. And here it is, a simple but really powerful framework to get you there, the 4 R's. This gives you a systematic, repeatable way to manage your entire content library. So the first 3 R's, those are your tactical moves. You can repurpose a great blog post into a webinar to reach a whole new audience. You can refresh an old article with new data to make it relevant again. And, this one's super important, you can retire content that's just expired and no longer serving you. But none of this happens by magic. And that brings us to the final and honestly, the most important R of all. Because a framework is completely useless if you can't actually implement it. We're talking about resourcing. This quote really says it all, doesn't it? A brilliant strategy means absolutely nothing if you don't have the people or the time to actually execute it. And let's be real, this is the reality for most marketing teams out there. Everyone is already stretched so thin, and this kind of content maintenance work, it almost always gets pushed to the bottom of the to-do list. This is exactly where strategic resourcing becomes a total game changer. Bringing in an external partner isn't just about getting more hands on deck. It's about having someone to govern your entire renewal framework. They bring the expert oversight and the process to make sure this critical work actually gets done day in and day out. It's a cost-effective way to seriously boost your AEO scores for this new age of search. So, as we wrap up, I just want to leave you with this one thought. Take a hard look at your content library and ask yourself, is it an asset or is it a liability? Is it actively building your brand, or is it quietly holding you back in the new age of AI? Honestly, the answer to that question could determine your future success.